Hello, how are you doing today? Can you hear me? Oh man. Oh, it looks like he texted me. Let's see what he said. He said, I can hear you fine. I will text you what I'm going to tell you so that you can begin and read my answers to everyone for your interview or conversation over dinner. So let's begin. Hello, Mr. Dewey. I'm Jacqueline McDonough. Right now, I'm a toddler teacher at a CAC here in Lompoc. We're known as Communify now. How are you doing today? Let's see what he says. He says he's doing great, just striving to create an education that is about life and learning. Wow, that's a great answer to that question. How are you doing today? Well, I can see your transgressions with many different schools at the moment in the United States. I understand that there's frustration being brought into your mind about standardized testing over project-based learning and even creating a child-centered education for those children in our programs. I can see that that's very frustrating as you tried for so many years to get this influential education focus for these children that's socially and democratically appropriate for the children, and just overall helping them with your philosophy on education. So if you could respond, that'd be great. Let's see what he says. Oh, I can see that you've studied my book. He says, John Dewey's Essential for Democracy and Education, haven't you? Now, I have a question for you. He asked me, what is your input on the philosophy of education that I've written? That's a big question. Let's think. Well, I think myself personally, the most important factor from your book that I cannot stop thinking about is that quote that you brought up: education is not preparation for life, but education is life itself. Do you agree that that's a very influential quote? He said, well, will you enlighten me on the meaning to you from this quote of mine? Let's begin. Well, understanding the instance of the education in your mind, being a vision of a child and project-focused learning, I see the connections between that continual learning over time for the child into adulthood. And I see that so many teachers are attempting to use repetition in my school that I'm working in right now, and even sometimes worksheets. And this really hurts my heart. It drives me, and I'm sure yourself, up the wall seeing educators use that standardized testing and testing just overall, just what their answers are rather than the process that they're going through. What do you think on that? You said this is something that isn't the meaning of education. There's no experience being provided, just a written test. That's so true. I agree with you very much. That's absolutely right. This is why with my students, I use their interests and their prior engagements in the community around them to further their skills and knowledge. Using their previous skills and knowledge is a great way to scaffold into their next level of learning, and also meaning using those higher level thinking skills and questions. He said, great idea. That's great. Yeah. Now, can I ask you a question? Is that okay? Let's see what he says. He said, yes, go ahead and go for it. Okay. Well, in the book, Essentials for Democracy and Education, this one from our class, you went into your explanation of your desired student experiences. Well, the writer went into what you desired for students' experiences in the environments in the classroom. Yes, you did. I agree. You agreed with me. I can see that. I can see that he very much so implemented what your philosophy was in this book. Oh. So when you said you wanted environments that were setting up conditions for which stimulate certain visible and tangible ways of acting, the first step, making the individual a sharer rather than a partner in the associated activities that they're doing, creating that feeling of success and also failure that's their own failure, is a very contemplating step. completing step that you were talking about, focusing on their personal interest to create a pathway in simple yet an effective way to pursue this foundation of learning, creating learning from one common curricular origin. And you also stated that it also stated that you're really shed light on the need of those real world applications in education. Students really need to be understood and engaged with the world around them, so their experiences they need in the environments are being met. This is where we need to be for those real world connections being made in the classroom, and what needs to be occurring in our classrooms environments on a daily basis, making those connections. Oh, wow, you texted back a lot of stuff. You said, that is wonderful that you brought this information up and really connects to what you stated earlier about scaffolding skills. Yeah, I talked about that a lot. And knowledge about bringing up one of my famous examples that is also in the book written about the essentials for education and democracy. The quote says, he quoted it from the book actually, after sounds have got meaning through connections with other things employing a joint undertaking, they can be used in connection with other like sounds to develop new meanings, precisely as the things for which they are combined. That's a great way to talk about scaffolding. I agree. This example shows exactly what I was talking about. Would you be interested in another meeting? This is a great opportunity to meet with you, but I really don't want to take any more time from you today. I really do thank you so much for allowing me to ask you some questions and infer some points I brought back from the book we are reading this semester. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Dewey. Let's see what he said on the text message. Anytime, I'm here for you to chat, and thank you for enlightening me in some of my quotes and takeaways from the book that you are reading this semester. Good luck in your future endeavors, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much, Mr. Dewey. I really appreciate this, and I can't wait to meet with you again. Have a great rest of your day.